Warning. What you are about to see and hear is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed on the show are our opinions and do not reflect the views of BTW 21 or its staff. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel and Chad.
God is looking for someone real. People are looking for something real. Just be real. You are a part right now of the Be Real podcast. Be Real, the podcast with your host, Daniel Lewis, Brother Chad Hudson.
Hello.
We are here once again with a great guest, every guest that we've ever had.
And a messed up camera.
And a messed up camera.
Usually we're talking over here.
Right. Usually I'm looking.
But we only have two cameras today, so just bear with us. And we'll do good. I'm trying to move it.
You did, didn't you? Appreciate that.
That's Daniel Lewis right there.
Daniel Lewis.
So who's our guest,
Lord
Daniel?
God. Mr. Ross Adams. We have a very special guest with us. He is from Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department. Been with them, well, we'll learn all about it.
We'll ask him.
We'll ask him. Got an event coming up. Got all kinds of things that's going on. He's been running the Facebook for a while now, from what I can tell, because the Facebook at Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department has just exploded with news, and that's what the people of the community need.
Oh, absolutely.
They need news. They need to know what's going on. We don't need detail. Well, I guess some people need details, but it's nice to know that there's men and women out there fighting for us. Local heroes is what I call them, and I love them so much, and I'm so thankful for them because it's just something in our community that we do not have a paid service like other communities have. We have all volunteers. So when you're a volunteer, you got to love what you do to volunteer your time. And I'm so thankful that we have these volunteers, especially the younger guys, the younger gals that want to come out, dedicate their time they got jobs also. It's incredible, especially these days. Right. As we all know, volunteer work back in the probably 70s, 80s, even before that, that was something to behold. But now, these days, I work in the volunteer agency now where I work now. We're volunteers. It's just so hard to ask people for their time because time is just the most precious thing that we have. And it's hard to get anybody to give that to somebody else. And even the Bible talks about it's just a bad. You see what's going on in the world, so it's hard to have the heart for others. So for those that do have that heart for others, and that's our volunteers, it's an amazing thing, especially this day and age. So thank you, Mr. Ross Adams.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Man, appreciate you coming out here. If you would, just give a little bit of mind of where you're from and.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Patrick Springs.
Gotcha.
Been there my whole life.
Really?
Yep, absolutely. Patrick County born and bred.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Part of the crew here.
That's right.
3 Patrick County boys here.
That's right. I joined Patrick Springs Fire back in 2017. I got promoted.
Might want to get a little closer. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. I meant to mention that before
good.
We got on the air.
Got promoted to captain in 2019. So
awesome.
I've been a captain there ever since.
Right. 5 years, huh?
A lot of growth in the department in those last 5 or 6 years. It's been awesome to see and be a part of. I'm a career fireman as well down in North Carolina.
Man, really?
So I commute down there and work there and then come home, volunteer, and it's awesome.
Now you're on a shift down there? So
I do. I work a 24/48.
Okay.
So I work a day and I'm off 2 days, and so it gives me time to be home during the day.
Right.
And I love it. It's the best thing I ever did, best career I ever had.
Right.
Now I like that. I like the fact that our volunteer fire department, who would come to my house, isn't, I wouldn't say just a volunteer, but you're actually doing it for a career as well.
We have
I mean, that's your
Praise
livelihood.
God. Praise God.
We have several Patrick Springs guys who are career in other places.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome to have that knowledge and have those guys that are dedicated enough to work and then come back and volunteer.
And you're living it. You live in the community still. In
I do.
Patrick? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's
Yep.
great.
It is.
That is excellent.
So I mean, is the license that you have? I know it's a little different for CNAs and RNs. Do you have to have licenses in both states?
You do. It's a little bit of a gray area, so some stuff kind of moves over and
Right.
flip-flops. It kind of just depends if you can get it reciprocity'd over.
Gotcha.
So some stuff you can. I've actually went through both. I've had to go through the Academy in North Carolina as well. So it's just
Wow.
part of it. But it's the same stuff. It's just different certifications.
Well, so
different
that
names
takes
on
dedication
certifications.
too, man.
Right. Well,
I mean,
there's that
wow.
gray area where we live, anyways. I mean, we're on the border.
Yeah.
I mean, really on the
Really.
border.
I'm 8
of
miles
North
from the
Car-
border.
Right, 8 miles from
As
the
the
border.
crow flies.
And I believe I might even be closer if you
Yeah.
if you
Right.
you know
Yeah,
go
just
up Hayes
straight.
Orchard. I live on Santa Claus Lane there.
Okay.
So there is a lot of that gray area. Have you ever ran into something where you were borderline in trouble? You know,
Not
where
really,
you're-
no. There's a lot of people that commute, I guess, from Virginia down to North Carolina
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and work. You know,
Oh,
it's just one of those things. It is different. It's kind of apples to oranges as far as how the two states run fire.
Now, where are you
EMS.
paying your taxes at? No, I'm just
Yeah. That's happening in both. So, speaking of which, I better get on that. But but it's awesome to kind of see two different perspectives, and you kind of learn a lot about both.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
You can take things from both and apply them to the other. So it's
Right.
Really, it's really cool.
And it's kind of the same area. I mean, really, it's just a line of North Carolina and Virginia, but I mean,
Right.
it's just the same feel of the foothills.
Absolutely.
Right below the mountains. I mean, it's same terrain,
Mm-hmm.
same everything. You know, the only thing I guess Patch County differs from North Carolina is we got the mountains.
Yeah,
I
love the
mean, you know,
mountains.
we're half and half. We're like foothills and, you know, pasture land and everything in the Moorfield store area. And then when you get up to Metazadan, it's
Oh yeah.
and then Vesta's, oh gosh,
Yeah,
definitely,
beautiful.
definitely beautiful. And they're working on 58 now, so it's a little bit of a strain, but you know, I
Right.
understand the improvements that they're making, and
Absolutely.
I'm thankful for you know that's happening for our children,
Right.
for the commute. You know, you got to have that 4-lane. That's going to bring a lot more traffic
Oh, yeah.
to the area. A lot more probably heartache for y'all. Company 23 not only runs fire calls, but they also run vehicle wrecks and stuff. So you have like a first responder unit. Is that what
We do. We have a truck that we run wrecks off of. No, at the moment,
It's
we're
called
not-
the wreck truck.
Right. We call it our squad.
The squad, okay.
So we have all of our extrication equipment on there. But it's also set up to fight fire as well.
Nice.
So that's kind of like a little multi-tool truck. You know,
Yeah.
we kind of just have the most bang for our buck as far
Right.
as you know the tools and stuff we carry. on
Jaws
there.
of life.
Absolutely, and we do run a good amount of wrecks, being right on 58, and we're expecting that to go up with the 4-lane, more truck traffic and stuff.
Man,
Stewart's
man.
probably going to catch more of that than us,
Yeah.
because that's their first due, and then Metazadan as well coming off. But yeah, definitely expecting some more traffic through there.
So you're wanting more volunteers, really?
Absolutely, yeah, we're always
The
looking,
more the merrier.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
now,
always looking for more volunteers.
Patrick Springs has a good youth group, don't they?
We do.
that?
We're very fortunate. 2 years ago, we had like 10 guys join at the same time, and all those guys went through training, got their Firefighter 1, Fire 2, and they have completely bought into what we're trying to do.
That's great.
It's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Their work ethic, their just desire, the pride and ownership they've taken in the department is just awesome. So we were doing pretty well, but we always want more help. I mean,
Right.
you know, it's the way I look at it. If you can have more people around with different schedules, the better off you
Right.
are.
Different
Middle-
input.
Yeah, absolutely. Middle of the day calls, you know, stuff like that. So
Right. So Ross, you I can tell that you're younger than we are.
I'm an old.
Can I ask you how old you are?
I just turned 28.
Really?
28 March. yes,
Man,
sir.
man.
Yep.
And how long have you dedicated your life to being a firefighter?
I guess I got into it when I was
Volunteer.
about 20 years old.
Really? So
I
8
got,
years,
yeah,
man.
I got into it a little later than some because some guys get into it when they're 16.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was actually in college when I kind of.
Well, you're still young
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
I mean, 20. Golly,
Yeah,
that's great, man.
I took an EMT course in college, and just,
Hey.
I was like, "Hey, this is kind of cool." Same time, Clint and my cousin Austin Bryant, they were in the
Yeah.
department. They kind of got me into it. So, hey, you need to come
Right.
join the fire department.
Amen.
Got into it, and it's just been awesome.
A blast ever
it
since.
took off, you know. So
Well,
caught the bug, so to speak.
Right, as me running the Patrick County News, man, and I'm so grateful. When did you come over and actually start doing the Facebook group? Or Facebook for Patrick County,
It was probably,
Patrick Springs Fire
right.
Department, sorry.
Probably a couple years ago. It's, you know, we had a Facebook page, but it wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah,
and
right,
obviously,
right.
me being younger, social media is a big part of life
Right,
now.
right.
Like it or love it,
Yeah.
hate it, it is.
So did you have to convince some folks to?
No, not really.
They
I
was
think,
all for it?
Yeah, I think our chief was running it at the time, and I was like, hey, man, like, is it okay if I start posting some calls, you know, some trainings and stuff? And he's like, go for it. And it's been good. We've actually recruited some people through that.
Nice.
They've seen, you know,
Well,
they
that's
see
great.
that, and they're like, hey, man, these guys are training, they're doing stuff, they're active, something I want to be a part of.
Right.
So it's a win for us. That we're careful about what we post, try to be respectful, you know.
Exactly.
Obviously, people are going through the worst day of their lives, where it's a house fire, vehicle crash, whatever.
I can't imagine.
But we try to be professional with it. And
Amen.
just,
Y'all really are. I mean, I've seen it grow, like you said, within just the last year and a half. It's something I share quite often in Patrick County News because I've seen it, you know, not only we talked about this before the podcast and we done the podcast before the podcast, but not only it's, you know, the public can see what you're doing, but it's also they know where their donations are going to. So when you have a donation that, or you have a fundraiser that's happening, or if you're sending out, I don't know if y'all do the sending out no flyers and thank donations in the mail and stuff like that. You can kind of see where your money's going to.
Right.
So that makes a major. It shouldn't have to, but I mean, it really does in this day and age when everybody's inundating. You know, like, come on. I need money for this. I need money, you know, veterans over here and this over there and Republicans over here and Democrats over here. I mean, blah. I don't want to bring politics into it, but everybody's asking you for a handout.
Absolutely.
But then when you have a group like y'all that are volunteers in the area that they live in or not in the area they live in, because you cover actually y'all, Company 3 covers Patrick County, and I noticed that y'all changed that in your logo.
Yeah,
it was the bull with the Bull Mountain Boys, which I love, and it was like serving Patrick Springs. But now it's like serving the county of Patrick because y'all run all over the place.
Right. Yeah, we didn't mean any disrespect by that.
No, I know, but
like we will go anywhere.
It's the truth because people don't realize that y'all are covering calls no matter where they come out in Patrick County or even in North Carolina. Y'all are helping out. Or Floyd.
We've been to Francisco. We've been to Sandy Ridge. You know,
right.
So how does that work? A dispatcher calls out a certain company, and that's in regards to the map or something.
Right. Yep.
Now, are you allowed to go anytime, or what? How does it work? Is it only that company that's supposed to go, or they supposed to go and they're in charge of the scene, or you know, like Daniel said, you guys are all over the place now.
Right. It kind of depends on the call. Structure fire is typically 4-department response. So you have your first due, your second due, your third, and your fourth, and that's just going to go, like you said, based off the distance.
You said due. Can you explain due?
So due is like the order of those trucks arriving on scene.
Gotcha.
So kind of the fourth due would be your fourth furthest away department. So it kind of depends.
So if
on
you
the
had a
call.
fire on County Line Road, Patrick Henry Volunteer Fire Department,
Right.
and then that would be the first due.
Correct.
And then they would call in probably Patrick Springs, second
Springs,
due,
Moorfield Store
with the
maybe
tanker.
Henry County, would depend on where it's at.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, if it's something else, if it's a bad wreck, the department gets there, they don't have a lot of help. Maybe they get on the radio and say, hey, start a second company.
Wow.
So we do good about working together with mutual aid and stuff.
noticed
I think
that.
everybody in the counties, you know, realizes they need help. And
Now,
we need help
Amen.
too. So.
Do you follow suit under the captain of, like, say CCDF? If they're the first ones called and a second unit comes in, do you follow in suit with that captain?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they'll have command of that incident, being in their first due. Now they may not have an officer there. One of our officers may get there. They say, "Hey, you take command." You know, it's something that you just kind of work through when you're on scene. But if it's somebody there who don't have a lot of experience, maybe they say, "Hey, a chief's here from another department."
Let's have them step
put them
in.
command, right?
Right.
So it just depends. There's so many, you know, so much stuff up in the air.
Right.
That's what
man.
makes it kind of fun. But we try to also have protocols and stuff to kind of take the thinking off of us. You know, we've got enough to think about. So if you
Because
have
shit's getting real.
Right,
I mean, let somebody else do the thinking.
So that's the whole protocol thing that was kind of brought. It used to be 2 departments. It's went up to 4. I think it's awesome. You know, the more that you have coming, you can always cut. You can always cut people back, but it just takes so long from dispatch. People don't realize, you know, you're sitting at home, your pager goes off. Well, there's also a minute or 2 delay from dispatch. They got to get the call, get the information, tone it out. We go into the station, get in the trucks, get in the gear. It takes time, so it's not just like, you know, we're on it. You know, sometimes we have guys standing by. But,
and fires go up quick.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, quick.
Absolutely.
Destroy
things.
And the county is so rural, you know, the way the roads are.
It takes time to get there.
You can't make any time getting to these places. So it's a good thing. We're real big on calling for help early, and then, you know, if we cut them back, but get them coming.
Local heroes, man, doing what's
absolutely.
right. Doing what's right. Let's throw that picture up, if you don't mind, of the
got a picture or something?
The crew. We'll get to the event here in just a little bit. It might be second half, but there you go. Yep. Can you give us a little rundown of who those folks are?
So
if you want to?
This is some of our young guys. You can see Clint. He's our assistant chief over to the right.
He's over there with the big old cigar hanging out of his lip. Now we've had him on the show before. He's a character. I love him. He's a great guy. He really is.
He does a lot for the department.
Man, he dedicates his life to firefighting.
This was a class we took down in Asheboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
It was a search class, search and rescue for searching for people inside of a house fire. We got pretty much a good chunk of our guys to go down there and take it. So that was a couple months ago.
And this is not everybody. This is just
this is a good chunk of the guys.
The youngers.
Some of the younger ones has taken Fire One.
Then old Clint over there.
Yeah, old Clint. So, we were taking that class.
Who's beside Clint, if you don't mind me?
That's Seth Bryant. He's one of our newer guys. He's just recently become certified. And then Brett, he's our officer there. He's another captain. And
if you wouldn't mind, do you know their last names?
Yeah, Brett Stovall.
Okay, there you go.
Right.
Thank you.
I'll go through the ones.
Just this is going to be shared in Patrick County.
I'm not good with names, so if you can name them all, that would be great.
I mean, that would be. But when you name the last names, that's something about Patrick County. They know. They might not know Brett or Daniel, but when you throw that last name out there, go, hey, that's old, what's his name's boy. I remember him telling me about that. You know, it's just the way it is, as you know.
Oh, yeah. That's Brett Stovall to the right of Seth there. He's also a captain with us. And then beside him, you've got Chris Owens. He's one of our newer guys. Chris is an awesome dude, always has a good attitude.
Right. We need those.
There's me beside him, and then to the right of me is David Parsons. He's another one of our newer guys.
That's you in the back?
I have a mustache.
I was
going
to say,
you got the most
woolly mustache guy.
The woolly bulliest mustache I've ever seen. And then you come in here, baby face.
It was getting out of control.
You said, that's me, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. What? That dude looks older than Clint.
It's that thing was starting to hold doors open for me. I
love it, man.
That's David Parsons, and then the guy's kneeling on the furthest to the right there. That's Will Vernon. And then Austin Ericetti beside him. Those two guys are still in high school, man. And I tell you, they're rock stars.
Well, them Ericettis, they got in their blood, man. They really got it in their blood.
They're two of the hard-working dudes that we have. They're all the time over at the station doing projects and stuff.
Nice.
And then to the right of him is Cody Collins. He's another one of our newer guys. So really fortunate to have those guys.
Right. We have a blessing of so many different firefighters in our county.
Yep.
That, and again, I cannot stress to say volunteers.
Right.
These guys are not getting paid.
When everybody else is running away, they're running to it.
Running in. And volunteering. It's just, it's we are sitting in here, and Chad knows this, 2024, to where, most people do not act unless, how much you paying me?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How much you going to give me, man? I'll go in there. I'll do that.
How much you going to pay me?
How much you paying me?
Right.
I'll do that. But then you got these guys that are risking their freaking lives to go into God knows what when they get that call. It might be a small garage fire. All right, that ain't small. Or it might be a 4-alarm. Is that how you say it? I don't even know. 3-alarm, 4-alarm fire in a 2-story plantation home that's been going for 30 minutes. That's fully involved.
Y'all wouldn't
break
make
out
it.
the
Y'all
ladder.
wouldn't make it to my house. My house so old and dried out, it just woof. I'd call you up. I'd be like, "Hey, we had a fire here."
Yep.
Lord God, I hope not.
It's a fun battle to fight because you are fighting recruitment and retention,
Right.
And then getting people to buy in is difficult sometimes, but you have to almost not make them, but you just have to let them see the pride and ownership in doing
Amen.
it. And once they kind of take ownership of it, and they get that kind of bug for helping and doing stuff around the station, and they see the impact that they're making, I think it really clicks for most of them.
One of the good things I think, for having you on here, and I greatly appreciate you coming out here again, man, and telling everybody, then those that are watching, not everybody has the ability to be able to volunteer.
Right.
Either they're working or they're retired or, just don't feel like they can have the time to be able to do that. Not if they could.
Well, with the economy nowadays, it's
Right.
like people are working 2, 3 jobs of their
jobs.
own,
Amen.
paying jobs just to pay the bills.
Right.
So it is very difficult to volunteer.
Well, then you got the older crowd too. That's just I don't think I can climb a ladder and fight a fire, or I'm not built for that.
Right.
I've never been able to do that. But what they do have the ability to do is to give.
Oh, absolutely.
Either monetarily or through I guess y'all have auxiliary.
We do. Yes.
And anytime there's a benefit or a event that you're having, they can volunteer in order just to help with that event.
Absolutely.
Spread the word.
Yeah, we never turn down.
Share it
help.
on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just there's not a limit of what you can be able to give and what you can be able to do. You might not be the best firefighter like we do have here with Ross, or somebody that's totally dedicated for years, but you can easily share their message.
Absolutely.
Just share their message.
Absolutely.
And or if you have the ability to donate, because of the Biden administration, none of us has hardly any money anymore. Just throwing that in there. But if you do have a little extra, you're actually looking out not only for yourself,
Right.
but you're looking out for your community.
Right.
And God knows if the house next to you is burning down, you might be next. Or
Absolutely.
the trees catch fire 10 acres down the road.
I've noticed a lot of people don't donate when they can't donate a certain amount.
Right.
Right.
Well, I only have this much to donate, and I'm embarrassed.
Right.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
What?
No.
It adds up.
It does.
It does,
It does.
man.
Every little bit helps.
Right,
It does.
$5 or 50. Even the rich people, not in Badger County, but even the rich, like Netflix and all those. Oh, we're going to raise the bill $2. Oh my God, it's only $2. I'll give the extra $2. But you got 40 million subscribers.
That
$2
goes
every
a long
month.
way. Right.
$2 every month.
And I
40
think
million
that-
subscribers. That's extra 80 million.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think that's what
It's
people
crazy.
should really look into. Is just donate what you can.
Donate what
And
you
don't
can.
worry about
Right.
Absolutely.
Don't put yourself in hardship, but and if you can't do that, and you're listening to us because you have a phone, or you're on Facebook, or you're on YouTube, and you're looking at us, you can easily just share it.
Absolutely.
Just share it,
Yeah.
and then somebody you share it with might have the means to be able to contribute, or want to volunteer, or have somebody young that's in high school and be like, I want to be a firefighter.
Absolutely.
I don't know anybody over there, but so how can I do this? Well, now you're getting to know Ross Adams. So,
Absolutely.
hey, I know Ross.
right.
He'll hook me up.
Right.
And you ain't got to be the best. They'll
Absolutely.
train you.
I think that is the way to recruit somebody is younger before they start having to pay all the bills and
Yeah. Absolutely.
working 8 jobs.
And when we say recruit, we really do recruit. I've reached
Awesome.
out to a bunch
we
of
know
people that's like, hey, come check it out. Just see what
Right.
you think. Come in. Let's look through the trucks. We'll talk about how we do things. Just see if
Yes.
you would be interested.
And they've got a great one right here. Ross, this is the first time I've ever met you, but your education and your vocabulary and the way you speak is just...
And what he does.
and what you
appreciate
do
it. Thank
is just great. I really think that we have, and I say we have a gem because I live in Patrick Springs. We have a gem in you, and I really think that, the ones in charge, I know they made you captain, but they need to keep on They need to keep on promoting you
Well, I appreciate
and keep
that.
you
Right.
around.
Absolutely.
'Cause
It's a blessing to be a part of that department. It's not a lot of work to keep the guys motivated because they're just motivated individuals. And
Amen. And that's who you're
awesome.
looking for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's who you're looking
Blue
for.
collar, just hardworking guys that don't mind getting dirty.
And I think we got a lot of people in the high schools or even earlier that they come out to y'all's department and all the departments throughout the county.
Absolutely.
I remember going when I was younger and just kind of getting a little sample of what y'all do and stuff like that. And I was like, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a firefighter.
Absolutely.
I didn't say that, but I said I wanted to be a police officer. Right. But I was very inspired by the firefighting, and so that one you want to reach and you get him. Or you see him, he needs to come out. He kind of, people are shy.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm shy. Look at me. I'm shy as crap. But especially my younger years, I was extremely shy. But if you know somebody, and hopefully through this broadcast or whatever y'all do, JeepFest, we're getting ready to talk about it here in a little bit, probably the second half. You're a team, so you're coming out. It's going to be a little nerve-wracking. It's just like I would say joining the military. You don't really know what you're going to expect, but it's kind of even less than the military because in the military you got a whole nation of. I mean, you meet guys out from Texas and New York and North Carolina and all these people coming into one place. Oh, we all want to be Marines or we all want to be, in the Army. But then right there in Patrick Springs, you have Patrick County boys.
Right.
The Bull Mountain boys.
Right.
And they want to come out and they want to fulfill something that they need to do. I think God gives us all a talent to do. Thank you. She just gave me the finger. First time. Yeah, that was a straight up middle finger. But anyway, did you see it?
we're gonna take a break. I didn't even see it. I was listening to you.
She broke it.
You were doing.
I
good.
know. I was like,
You were going
I was on a
on.
mission. I was doing some
But I have
JFK
a-
talking, and then all of a sudden,
I have a lot of family members. When I lived in Connecticut, the Hudsons were part of the Monroe Volunteer Fire Department. I've had people down. I mean, that's all there was in that community was volunteer fire departments, and it's a special place in my heart for them.
right.
Having relatives in it and listening to the stories that they have. But what you guys do, I don't know how to.
I admire it.
I admire it. I don't know how to explain my respect for it as much as it. I mean, it is what it is.
It's right up there with the military.
It
It's
is.
our local
It's up there
heroes.
with the military.
It is up there with the military.
It's and that's how I feel about it. So I can't
Thin
thank
red
you
line.
enough
We
for
appreciate
getting
it.
here.
Yeah, we
And
appreciate it.
we will talk about the Jeep Fest that's coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about your Facebook because social media is the
Part of life.
It's part of life
It
now.
is, yeah,
And you do a great job. So we'll be back in a minute, and we'll talk some more.
We'll be right back.
Please like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Thank you.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us here on the Be Real, the podcast. Little period there.
Look at your name.
Yeah.
That's your name down there.
It is Daniel Lewis. Brother
that.
Chad Hudson.
Hey,
Do we have a little something for Peckerhead?
we don't have a peckerhead thing yet. Have we named it?
I don't know. Paul Farrar named him Peckerhead, and there's a
not-
couple more people that mentioned they like the word
You got
or
a
name.
You got a name for our chicken?
Ross.
Think
That's
about
a
it.
tough one. That's a
I
You
shouldn't have said Peckerhead. I should have said like, do you have a name for him?
Because you could win a dinner.
Yeah, $40 gift certificate to Hugo's Restaurant in Martinsville. Plug.
Anyway,
Yeah,
think about it.
just think
I'll
about
come
it.
back to
Give
that.
Come up with
Give
something.
us a call.
I'm
put
not
it on
touching.
put it on your website or on your
There you go.
Facebook.
Say you
That'd be
did a
great.
podcast with
Look at
Peckerhead.
It's Ross Adams.
Hey, Ross Adams. There we go. Yeah.
Names
Yeah.
and that could be your profile picture.
We are hanging out with a firefighter
a
from
good
the
one.
volunteer in Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department, also a firefighter in North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very proud of him. Thankful that he serves our community, has been for a while, and just sitting here trying to figure out a little bit more about the volunteer fire department. If you'd like to join, contact Mr. Ross, contact him through the Facebook page, or just give him a call.
Absolutely.
You can look it up on Google, Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department. They got a website, Bull Mountain Boys, and also they've got it right there in the, on Google Maps. You can just call the number. When somebody answers, say, how can I be involved? And we wanted to get you to know Ross Adams. We've had Clint out here. Ross, Hope to get a lot more of them out here. Galen Gilbert's been out here. All of them part of the Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department. They're in desperate need of volunteers. Just a great group of guys. And as he would tell you, he's not just here for himself. He's representing a group of folks. Yeah. Because
and a wonderful guy to represent. Right. I mean, well-spoken and just educated, and that's great.
Yes.
That's what we need.
Yes, that's what we need, man. Yeah. Not just your typical whoever you might think of whatever he is.
I'll piss on that fire.
That's a trick.
We can do it. If you need somebody to piss on the fire, you got the Be Real Boys. We can do it. But if you need somebody to actually put the fire out, Bull Mountain Boys.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
There you go.
So now you have an event coming up, or multiple events coming up. What are we going to talk about here?
We do. Our JeepFest is coming up on April 20th. It's our first year ever doing it. So,
JeepFest.
yes,
About a week and a half.
Yep.
There it is right there. It's spread out. Yep, man, it's a wide Jeep.
Yeah, that's my sister actually made that.
Awesome.
Design there. She's a graphic designer.
Really? Well, she did a great job,
man. She was helping out. She really helped us out. We appreciate her. So.
What's her name?
Reagan Adams.
Reagan Adams. Well, thank you, Reagan.
Yep.
You did a great job. I've been designing flyers and doing things for 15, 20 years now.
So what does it say
That's
on this
really
flyer?
good.
It says live music and food trucks
Absolutely.
and 50-50 drawing. Now, what is this Jeep Fest? Is it where a bunch of Jeeps come out and park in the parking lot and have a party, or what?
I'm learning as well. I'm not a Jeeper, but one of our members is, and he's been to a couple of these events, and they have them everywhere across the state.
Yep.
Basically, it's just a big car show, I guess, for Jeeps, and Jeep clubs can come out and hang out. And
we're gonna put out the fire truck and douse a field somewhere to make some mud and let these things run through them, or what are we gonna do?
We might keep it simple this year, but next year you never know. Yeah, you never know.
Some mud bod hog and
we've got
throw that back up there if you don't
so
mind.
it's a car show.
Basically, yeah, and they come and they park and they hang out. We got
swap ducks.
Right. Yep. Swap ducks.
Swapping ducks.
We're gonna have vendors there. So
$20 register.
Yep.
Jeeps, $10 general admission.
Yeah, and if you don't have a Jeep, you can still come out.
You can still come out. 10:30 a.m.
Yep. So we're gonna
registration starts at 10:30.
Yep.
Is that when it starts? 10?
Yeah,
it's 11 to 2. I see that now.
We've actually had such a big influx in people that's saying they're coming. We may move registration up to 10.
And this is happening at the Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department?
No, Rotary Field.
Rotary Field. Okay,
Yep.
cool. I see that now, Rotary
You
Field.
see that now, Danny?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to read through there
You
real
want
quick.
my-
I've looked at it 100 times.
You want my transitional bifocals? Maybe that'll help you out there.
Rotary Field's located at 420 Woodland Drive in Stewart. So everywhere, every time we've ever had the fair, that's where you go.
Yep.
So people know the fair.
Yep.
Well, I think we're on our almost 80th annual fair, somewhere 60th or 70th, or I don't know. I'm not a Clark, but
We've had some wrestling there last
had some
weekend.
wrestling. Yeah. Chad was involved in that. But Rotary Field right there in Stewart, Virginia, you can't miss it. Right off 58, turn up by what used to be a hospital. Dead. Blaine ain't even gonna get into that.
Yep.
Go up Woodland Drive right out there on the left, or if you come on the other way, you got Commerce Street, and you just take a right there off Commerce Street. Well, take a left or right off Commerce Street and come up the hill. And then right there's Rotary Field, and that'll be on the 20th, starting at 11 a.m. You'll see a bunch of Jeeps, and all the benefits or all the proceeds goes to Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department.
Right. Yes,
Cool.
sir.
Okay, cool.
Now you have a number on the bottom that says vendors and sponsorships available.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Now,
glad you can see that.
Yep.
Break out
I'm
the
looking
bifocals
hard.
now.
I can't see the number.
Phew, I
So
can't.
it's 229-8962.
Yep. That's my personal cell number.
Oh, that's
Oh,
yours.
we're throwing that your personal.
Yep. That's my personal
Grace,
number.
there you go.
Well, this pretty fella's going to get some calls here. pretty
Yeah,
soon.
I might not have said that, but yeah, that's my number. So trying to coordinate this stuff.
Yeah, man,
and,
you're doing great.
So now
trying to-
these vendors that come in or sponsor these vendors, they'll give you a percentage of their intake.
So
Is
we're
that how
just
it-
charging a $25 vendor fee, and that's just something. Just say, hey, here's your spot.
Wait,
That'll
man,
help.
we need to talk about that. That needs to go up with $25.
Yeah, just
Right.
$25.
You can't beat
bucks.
that.
Well,
About that.
we wanted our vendors to make money. We,
Right, I get that.
We wanted
You
them to
can't
be
beat that.
successful. And then we reached out. We actually did really well with sponsorships. We've probably got close to $5,000 in sponsors.
Nice.
Great.
Nice.
So that helped for bands, food trucks, all
Yeah.
that stuff. We're
Yeah.
raffling off some Jeep equipment.
Hey.
So it helped pay. I can't think. It's too many sponsors to think right now. But it's a lot of local businesses that really stepped up and helped us out. So
yeah, I'm sure CW Tree Works is probably one of those.
Yeah, I think he's one of them.
You think?
Just saying.
Yeah. He better be. Right. That's right.
Break it out, boy. No, he's good. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're praying for good weather and bring them on. We've got people coming from all over. We've made the Facebook event and we've had groups from way in southwestern Virginia, western North Carolina.
Awesome, man.
Up in central Virginia.
Well, it's amazing how many people like Jeeps.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm a Jeepster myself. I mean, I love it.
Hopefully, this is something we can establish and it'll be a yearly thing.
Right. So this is the first annual.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you don't really promote that when it's the second. It's like second annual.
Right.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yep. I love it. So, are you the originator of the idea?
So Ricky Vernon is actually the one that come up with it. He's got a Jeep, so he was like, "Hey, this is something we could be doing. Right. Nobody around here does it. It seems to work pretty well."
I think it works really good with the Bull Mountain Boys because y'all are not just. Like we talked about earlier, Patrick County is not just the foothills. Patrick County's got mountains, man. So there's a lot of ATVing involved.
Absolutely.
And so when you need a vehicle that is going to get somewhere, Jeep.
Yep.
That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Like Boyce would say the same thing. He's going to get, it's going to get somewhere where other vehicles are just not going to be able to go.
Right.
And then you can load a lot of it in the back. Just take it off and have a really good time. So the 20th, let's throw it up there one more time.
Yep.
Look at her. Oh, what's she doing now?
That's our.
She's on Facebook. She's showing Ross's stuff. Yeah. That's the event.
Yep, that's the event page.
Okay, you can go to the event page again.
20th.
We were talking about earlier. If you can't make it, if you could go to this event page,
you could donate. I'm sure somewhere.
Yeah, you can share it.
Yeah, I think we're doing a
sharing
cash
is
raffle.
free.
Yep, we're doing a cash raffle as well, and we're going to draw that. We actually have those for sale now.
Okay.
We have a PayPal and a Venmo for people that
It's like tickets or
just 50-50 tickets. Winner will take home whatever it builds up to, half of it. So I think we're like close to $1,000 now.
And hopefully that in most situations I've been a 50-50 if it's a good cause like that. The recipient donates it back.
Right. We've been to a lot of those. And then there's some people who want to keep it.
And
that's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you win, you can keep it.
Right. Yeah, just looking for more ways to bring in some funds.
Amen.
Inflation is so expensive. The fire.
Has a new door come in yet, man?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so it's still boarded up.
Yeah, we've still been hassling with insurance companies and garage. Like everything else, everything's about 4 or 5 months behind schedule.
Right.
But hopefully sooner than later. But it is being worked on. But it's just one of those things when you have moving trucks.
That's just you got beautiful trucks in there. You got a beautiful building, and then you see the door boarded up.
Yep.
And you're like, oh man.
Yeah, that was a bad day.
One thing I can say about that is the reason they keep a beautiful truck because they put these things through the ringer.
Yep.
As we know, is they have men that women too. I apologize. Men and women that dedicate their time to cleaning these things.
Absolutely.
And making sure they're maintenance up.
Right.
And oil changes. You got, of course, I don't know who you got a line officer that's in charge of the trucks?
We do. Our treasurer, James Bryant, and his son, Austin Bryant, are really good with helping us with that. And then also one of our officers, our Lieutenant Nate, he's a mechanic full-time. Nate Harris,
wow.
So he helps
there you
work
go.
on some stuff. So it's nice to have those guys in-house.
It is.
To have the knowledge to work on stuff.
And so
like
when
that.
you need something done, usually it's local.
Right.
Also.
Right.
So that brings more funds back into the community.
Absolutely.
We need some tires. Well, we got, 200 tire places.
Right. Absolutely.
Many to choose from.
Right,
It's a lot of places that you can go and get different parts. I know you got to order a lot of them online or, through things, but that's one of these things when you're donating to the volunteer fire departments of no matter who it is, Patrick Springs, Moorfield, Ariat, Vesta, or, Meta-Sedan, that they seek out local before they actually go somewhere else to where they're, these trucks are not cheap.
Absolutely not.
Not even close to it. It blows my mind how much these things
probably
are.
increased 100% in the last year. Used to a $500,000 truck's probably now $1 million.
Good Lord, ain't that crazy?
It's hard on us because trying to keep up with stuff.
And get the equipment that you need to be able to serve the community.
Right. We do the best we can. We fundraise hard, and then we try to make what we have last and take good care of it.
Right.
And thankfully we got a bunch of guys that's taking the extra time. Away. It's easy. I want to say easy, but it's easier to just run calls and show up to the fun stuff.
It is.
It's a little bit harder to clean up afterwards when nobody's watching.
Right.
So
Amen.
we've got a lot of guys that are good about that, and they.
Well, I remember, I'm not trying to talk about myself, but I mean, it's just from experience that I know in Jeb Stewart Rescue Squad that a lot of the members put their own, not only time, of course, volunteering, but they put their own money into it because they wanted to see it prosper and grow.
Absolutely.
And if you see something lacking, we did tire, or we need, some more fluids, or we need, this or that or whatever, it's like, let's go ahead and donate. So I'm sure that you've got a group of guys and gals over there that are willing to, hey, we don't want to see anything lacking. We want to go out there with the proper equipment to do what we need to do, and we got to have it because you never know. Every call is different.
Right.
It's got to work. You
It's
show
gotta
up
work.
at an emergency situation. That pump truck's got to pump.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's got to work.
Absolutely.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
And I just talked to a lady today. She had she had a carbon monoxide problem. She didn't realize what was going on. She'd been sick for about, I think, a month or two, and she just couldn't get better.
Right.
And she had the gas thing that was going on in her house. She didn't realize it, and one morning she woke up and the carbon monoxide alarm's going off. So she calls 911. Y'all come down. It was actually in the Patrick Springs area, and went in with, you have these detectors that are a whole lot stronger than the little detectors that we have, and they backed out. They were like, oh my God, everybody needs to get out. I need an oxygen tank before we even can get into the house.
Right.
And she'd been living in this place. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was so thankful, even to her. I mean, she was, extremely thankful. And I was just like, we're getting ready to have Patrick Springs Volunteer Fire Department on the show this afternoon. It was just weird that it rounded up to that, because it was like these men and women are ready to go into this extremely dangerous situation, and they need the right equipment in order to help the person that's actually living there. She could have died.
Absolutely.
She could have died. I mean, easily died. And she called 911 for help. And that's what keeps getting me, because we live in Patrick County. It is a volunteer, not only rescue, but also volunteer fire department. But when you need that help, 2 o'clock in the stinking morning, or 3, God forbid it happens at any time, but if you need that help at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, or any time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you call 911, it's not Martinsville that's showing up.
Right.
It's not Stokes County that's showing up. It's not Floyd that's showing up. It's these men and women that have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, but there they are at your house at 2 o'clock in the morning, making sure that you are able to breathe and see another day.
Right.
So how much is that worth to you? That's what I think about when I'm donating to Moorfield Store. I live in that area, or I'm donating to Patrick Springs. Also, I mean, like the borderline of that, Mayor River District. It's just, or any district. I mean, even I care for people of Henry County. I care for the people of Martinsville, but I'm also a super huge fan of Patrick County people, because that's my family and friends.
Right, right.
And so when I donate, it's not just I'm looking out, oh, me. I'm looking out for, they need the proper equipment. These men and women are willing to give their time. They need the proper equipment to go into that home and find out exactly what's going on.
Right.
And not all the time is there a blaze of glory. There is carbon monoxide, which is a silent killer, which is something that, somebody could die of overnight because their stinking machine's not working right, or whatever, fireplace is not working right, or they got gas in their home. You just don't ever know. It just amazes me. And so just another thought there. I'm just an advocate for the fire department, for the volunteer fire department. I've thought about it so much. You've said it yourself. Me and Chad have talked about it. His greatest fear, he don't fear hardly anything whatsoever, but fire. Fire is the fear.
I don't have, I race cars, and I could wreck, break bones, and do whatever.
Right.
It happens. But fire, I have a fear of fire.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I could walk in the middle of the woods, pitch black, and not have any fear. I could pick up a snake, a rattlesnake, and not have any fear.
I've seen it.
I can sit there and do these things that a lot of people are afraid of, and I don't judge them by. But fire gets me.
Oh yeah.
I grew up. My neighbor, he was a little kid. He caught his house on fire and burnt his whole family's house down to the ground. Wow. And as a 7-year-old kid, or however I was at that age, that stuck with me. Right. I mean, that was just such a life event for me that my neighbor's house got burned down to the ground. I'll never forget. And it was volunteer fire department that came out and made sure that everyone was safe. I believe they provided oxygen for some people and got everybody out safe, but the house went to the ground. My elementary school burned down. What could burn down? It was made mostly out of rock and steel, but I guess there was a Xerox copy machine that caught on fire. So I actually went to a middle school or elementary school that was the county away from us. So fire has always been in the back of my head, and
now with everything's based on electronics. People are constantly charging stuff. There's 500,000 surge protectors plugged into one outlet.
Right.
It's like there's no thought. I can kind of see that in some of the people I know, that they have, all these different things plugged into this surge protector, which is 9 outlets into one outlet. And I'm sitting there going, oh, my Lord, We used to be able to leave, and if, the stove maybe would have caught fire, the wood stove might have caught fire, the refrigerator, I don't know, dryer, it's kind of what our worries were back in the 80s and 90s. But then, you get these days, and you got 9 outlets in one. It's like, holy moly, and lithium batteries, and I mean, it's just
scary to think about.
Right, it is. Right, it is. Yep. It's very scary to what could actually happen. And everybody that I've ever met that's ever been involved in a fire or had a fire at their home never thought they could think it could happen to me.
Right.
I never thought that would happen to me. I never thought. I've got, you start aging. I'm 40, getting ready to be 46. And I've known these people my whole life. And, this girl I just graduated with, her home caught on fire about 3-4 years ago. I don't know, time goes so fast. And had 3 dogs in the home. And the whole house burned down with the 3 dogs. Yeah. And she wasn't worried about the home. She was worried about the dogs. And, I mean, it still to this day just eats her alive. Right. That she never thought that could happen. It was just faulty wiring. I mean, you kind of go through your day trying to not to worry about that stuff, but it does happen.
Oh, absolutely.
So we could sit here and talk and tell stories because that's what we do. But our guest here, what was one of the craziest calls you've been on, or give me something?
That's a good question.
Right, just give me something that just blew you away, or
I would probably have to, and this is probably a big one for a lot of the Patrick Springs guys, was when we had a tractor trailer fire. It was actually in front of Hopkins Lumber.
Oh, wow.
And it was full of tiki torch fuel.
Hey!
Yeah. Tiki torch.
That was live on Patrick County News.
That burned up.
That was the little black
the trees there on the side of it.
Roasted the damn
one of the
pine
most
trees.
Memorable ones we've been on.
Because it could get hairy real quick, right?
Absolutely. Well, the driver originally told us it was paper products. So that gets us thinking, well, if it's paper, we can put it out with water.
Right.
And then once we realized it was not paper, water wasn't putting it out.
No.
So because it would just spread it?
Right. Yeah. It was mixing with the tiki torch fuel, the water was basically, and just burning. And then, it just went south really quick because we didn't have a water supply. You're in a rural area of the county there, no hydrants or anything. So you're dependent on tankers coming, and it just takes so long for people to get there. And then the heat of the fuel load that thing had, it just took off. So
I remember it burnt the pavement.
Yeah, they had to repave.
It burnt the trees up.
They just cut the trees down, the pine trees right there that were just roasted.
Yep, and we called Henry County for that one to come help, and we had several departments from Henry County come help. Every department in Patrick County was there.
Yeah.
Now, was that driver just ignorant to what he had, do you think?
A lot of them don't really know.
I picked up a load in Nebraska, and here we are.
They hook to it and take off and don't think about it, and then we learned a lot from that call, stuff like that. So we learned just a lot of things about our truck and just how we can do that one a little better next time.
Right.
So sometimes, thankfully, nobody got hurt. That's the main thing. We didn't lose anybody, didn't lose any equipment.
Praise God.
But it's just learning experience. It was one of those wild.
I was going to say
calls.
if it could happen at any place, that was probably the perfect. Well, it ain't no perfect place, but that would probably be the perfect place.
Right.
That could have happened.
It wasn't near a house.
Because I was right there. Yeah, there was no homes nearby. You know, it roasted the trees, but it
Right.
didn't burn them. But it just roasted the crap out of them.
Right.
And I was standing there watching it, and it was blowing little tiki plastic black things about that big all in the yard. I guess when it first, or out in the road and everywhere out when it first caught on fire. It just amazed me how long that thing burned. And I mean, y'all really tried a long time to put it out.
We
and
did.
Foam, water, I mean, everything y'all use, I don't even know. But it just kept, I mean, there was this little mass that was right there behind and burnt the rig up. But the trailer right there where I guess the majority of the load was just, I mean, this sucker was not going out for a while.
Right.
Well, fire's so unpredictable.
It is.
You know, you could have a brush fire or a field fire or something, and that sucker could just wrap around you before you know it. And house fires are the same. Have you ever been in a firefight and maybe lost somebody or injured? Someone got injured, they dropped, and because that's got to pay toll on these volunteers. That, hey, maybe I don't want to do this no more. Did you see what happened to Steve?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
have you had to witness that yet?
Thankfully not. Thankfully, we haven't lost anybody in my career that we've been around. We've had little minor bump ups here and there, but haven't had anything major. It is something that we train on a lot, just taking care of our own.
That's what I was going to say. I'm sure it has a lot to do with training.
It does. It does. You have to be ready for something like that. If somebody does get disoriented or something happens with their air pack, they get, just in a bad way.
So you're not just looking out for yourself and what your air pack's doing, but if you see somebody starting to act a little funny, it might be time to get him out of here.
Exactly. Exactly. So we do train on that quite a bit. We try to stay proficient in that just because we need to take care of ourselves too. We're there for the citizens. I'm real big on citizens first above all else because it's servanthood.
Man, I love
so
that.
that's why we're there.
I do too.
But we do have to be prepared if something happens to one of our own. So we try to train on that. We also don't let that keep us from being aggressive and still doing our jobs. We still, if there's a house fire, we do our best to get in there, search it for pets, people.
Thank you.
We do need
Thank you, brother.
We do need to make sure that and that is, like you said, through training, that you kind of stay, proficient in that stuff. So thankful for the guys that bought into that, and they're training tonight. Tonight's training night, so they're probably there tonight doing something.
Amen,
so,
man. Yes, sir.
Every Tuesday night. But yeah, thankfully we haven't lost anybody. Hope we never do. Hope that's something I never have to experience.
Praise God.
But hopefully we'll be ready for it if it does happen.
Well, I know God's with y'all.
Absolutely.
One thing there's probably other things you want to stress to the public, but I remember running rescue was the numbers, the house numbers. Please get house numbers out there on the road.
Yep.
Is it more proficient to have them out there on the road or on the house, or where
I'd say on the road, just because of so many long driveways.
It is
in Patrick County, and then on that driveway there could be.
We're
talking about addresses.
Right,
for those that don't know what we're talking about, your address. If it's no matter what it is on the road that you live, make sure you have a marker out there at the end of your driveway or near your driveway to where these guys know where you're coming from. Because I remember running rescue. And there was several that we would go to. It'd be 207 county line. Lord, I don't know who lives there, but anyway, I'm not saying anything about y'all, but I'm just saying, just to have an example, we'd go and we'd see 205, and then we'd run into 213. It's like, where in the hell is 207?
Right.
And so you done passed it, so you got to turn the ambulance around, and you're like, 207, so it's 205 right here, the next driveway.
And it's like that for everything. It's not just, I'm nowhere near as comparing what I do to what y'all do.
Right, me either.
But my wife started a business, Pet Express Transportation. And this lady gives us the number, and we head to her house. And like you said, it branches off 4 different directions.
Yep.
Right.
And now what do I do? So I go up that driveway, and I get told, nope, it's not that one. I go up the next driveway, and I get... There's nobody up there, so I've decided it's not that one.
Right.
So I turn back around, but
can you imagine if there's a fire?
And I'm just picking
or
up
a medical emergency.
I'm just picking up a dog to carry him to the veterinarian. Like there's no emergency.
Right.
I'm just
It's
carrying
not
a
a
dog.
911 situation.
So I can only imagine if my heart's racing
Right.
And my adrenaline's running, and I'm thinking about going, you know,
And
what I
saving
got
a
to do.
life.
And now I'm turning this son of a gun around.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm,
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
cussing and, you know, just
Yeah.
doing whatever.
For real.
Right.
Yep.
For real.
And we
So-
we try our best to like pre-plan that as much as we can. If we run something that it's a driveway we can't get the truck in or something, we'll let dispatch know, hey, put this down as a limited access.
Yeah.
That way we know next time.
Next time or
we'll
some
take
other.
a smaller
That's great.
truck or something.
great.
But yeah, if you can help us out by that, that's a big
Right.
That's a big thing. We have an app on our phone. It's called Active 911 now. So that sends us the address, and a lot of times we can pull it up on a map. So that helps.
Now GPS
lot.
and all the phone technology, I'm sure
Right.
that has helped.
It
but
does help. It's not reliable
It's
all
not
the
reliable
time. Yep.
because I've been sent in the wrong direction by GPS
Absolutely.
before too.
Absolutely.
Daniel and I ended up on a dead end road somewhere in North Carolina.
We come back from
Okay.
the Outer Banks. It took us, 9 hours to get there and like 12 hours to get back.
Oh yeah.
Because Google was like, woo,
Yep.
and woo. And
Oh,
next
yeah.
thing you know, I'm in South Hill, Virginia going, okay,
Yep.
we got a while to
So
go
we,
down 58.
we just got the 2-minute warning.
We did.
I would like to get the Jeep Flyer back
Let's
up.
get that Jeep
one
Flyer
more
back up
time,
there.
Talk about that.
And
because
one thing I
that's the
do,
event that's
again, I
happening.
want to stress, get the freaking marker of your address out there on the road.
Right,
Please.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
Right
it-
there you go.
There it
Look,
is.
that
Good
right
example.
there.
It's perfect.
Anything, please. Good gosh, it don't cost nothing to go to Dollar Tree or Walmart and get some numbers and just put it out there on the road for these guys.
Right.
Because they are coming at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, and they're trying to help you out, and it just bothers me that they can't find you. And it's not their fault. They're willing to help and rushing to help, and they're all wide open wanting to help you, and they can't even find your home because it's not marked. Just please mark it. So anyway, I'm sorry.
No,
but I
do
mean,
it.
that just they used to kill me, man, because it was
Yep.
time is such everything
It
when it
is.
comes to fire, rescue, everything. And a lot of these people just wouldn't have their just the simple marking.
Right.
So this,
Simple marking.
This first annual Jeep Fest, April 20th.
20th Saturday.
You don't
Be
need to
there.
own a Jeep.
That's right. Yeah,
You could come out and listen to the music you guys got,
Absolutely.
eat from the food
Get you
trucks,
something good. To eat.
donate
right.
a little bit, and it all goes back to a great cause.
Right. You don't even
Goes
have to
back-
donate. You can just
Yep.
come out and have a good
Just
time.
come have a good time.
Get you something to eat.
Yep.
Listen to some good
Absolutely.
music.
That's great.
If you'd like to donate, they'd love it. You're not only helping yourself out, but you're helping your community out. You're helping your neighbors out. You're helping Chad out. You're helping
Right.
me out.
Help me out.
You're helping 8 babies out. You're
got
helping
them
4
babies.
babies out.
Got
We
them
love
babies.
you. So thank you.
I'm having my 8th child here in about
Popping out in
three
May.
more
Wow.
weeks.
Yeah, about
Congratulations.
May.
That's
8th.
awesome.
That's a good one.
That's awesome.
That's
So I
good.
rely on you guys to come help me.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Come
We'll be
help
there.
me out.
We'll be
Right.
Well, it was great having you out
guys.
here. Thank you
Man,
very
Ross,
much.
Thank you.
good
Thank
meeting you,
guys.
boss. Man, I
Absolutely. Yep. Thank
can't
you,
say how
guys.
much I greatly appreciate you. And I know, like you've said before, you're not out here just for yourself. You're representing a community of guys
Absolutely.
and gals.
And a
great group.
well-spoken one. This is
Thank
the
you.
winner right
I
there.
couldn't think of a
Appreciate
better.
it.
Hey.
I couldn't think of a better one.
Absolutely.
you.
Y'all
Thank you,
come back
guys.